Hello, welcome to the Cables, Lace, and Tails podcast. My name is Sue, and I am a maker from northwestern Wisconsin. It is quite steamy. You may hear a fan in the background, but such as Midwest summer. Drinking iced coffee. Little tip, many people probably know this, but if you have leftover coffee for whatever reason, put it in an ice cube tray. Put it in the freezer. Keep it until you want a nice cold drink on a hot summer day. It makes your coffee taste even coffier. It's so good. If I don't control myself, I could just down it all at one moment. So, summer school is over. The last day, boy, we were all smiling to ourselves and saying, it's a good thing today's the last day because the behaviorals were through the roof and the kids were done. They need their break. They can't wait to go, or they're really stressed out about what is to come in life. So, what is this weird thing in my hand? Well, I am teaching myself to sew. I am 50 years old. Well, I'm over 50 years old. I'm in my 50s. I don't want to say the exact age because, being a woman, you don't have to. So, this is one of the patterns. I have done quite a few. Now, I'm terrified on cutting the tissue paper out. I have left the tissue paper in its entirety because what if? What if I choose the wrong size? What if I choose too big, too small? Well, if I do too small, then I can't go bigger because I already cut it. And if I go too big, yes, I can cut it down, but what if I'm in between sizes? And these fears and worries have stopped me from learning how to sew. So I decided I would buy this traceable paper, and this is a sleeve. So I trace everything out. I use a Sharpie. I have a pretty steady hand, and you can make some adjustments. Is it perfect? Probably not. There's a fan going. So, but on it, I have all the little markings that shows what it is. And then I wrote, this says ease. I also do things upside down. So if I have a pattern like this, I'm just going to write the way it is. So it gives me my hem allowance, the grain. I circle the piece. So the number that is circled is the piece number. So I have done this now for my first top that I had. I did it for that one, and I did it for another dress that really did not look good on me. It was my first one, and I think to myself, you should take it apart and use that fabric. But at this present moment in time, I want to keep it because I want to see how far I have progressed in time from that. But I have all the pieces I wanted to make from this pattern. And this pattern comes with a dress, a top, and pants. And there's actually two versions of the top, one version of the dress, and then two versions of the pants. I'd probably take the bottom because my legs are short. And yesterday I was at Target with my daughter. We were buying stuff for her upcoming trip. And I was like, oh, these are so cool. I really like these. And then for my size, or what I think is my size, the pant leg itself is like, well, actually it was probably like my whole body. I'm like, I can see where that would be comfortable, and I know it's a style, but it's too big and it would make me look too short. So I have fabric. I have been tracing these out. I have traced out probably 6 patterns so far, various size. Like right here I did the dress and the shirt and the pants. So because there's only one version of the pants, you just kind of make the pants shorter or longer. So all the pieces are in here. Now if I choose a different size, I can always write down on this front, which I have done for certain ones, what it is and whatnot. But for now, all I do is put this in my Ziploc, right here. Everything is together. I know now I feel confident enough to try, because I'm tired of being so frozen in fear. Sometimes doing what's necessary and buying some traceable pattern. I did buy my traceable pattern paper, which is, I wrote it down, Tri Art white tracing paper roll. It's 16 inches by 164 feet, which is about like 50 some yards. And right now it's on sale, but it's about $25 at this time. The first roll I bought was probably cheaper because I bought it probably 3-4 years ago. And then I got busy and I just didn't do what I should have done. Maybe I bought it last year. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I decided, since I've been going through that roll of paper because I've cut so many patterns, I would get another one, and I paid about $25 for that roll. It is thick. The paper itself is sturdy. It feels a lot sturdier than tissue paper. Can you rip it? Oh yeah. I mean, it's thin paper. I mean, you can see my hand through it pretty easily, but it has some give to it. It takes pins very well. When I was making my first sewn top, I was so at ease with, well, if it rips, it's okay. I have the pattern and I can just make a new one. Or what if I don't like the way the sleeve looked? Well, that's okay. I have the pattern and I can change it. And I don't have to worry about buying another pattern. Now, I can't wait to make this. I really like this square neckline. And I think it just made me feel really good to wear my other top. So I have been working on that diligently. Do you think it takes just a little bit of time? I think last Thursday I worked on it for about 7 hours. Not all at once, you know, like 2-3 hours and then another couple hours, and I went back to it again. It is teaching me about drafting patterns because I am copying all of these, so I'm learning how sleeves look. I'm learning how necklines are. I'm learning how things kind of go together. This is teaching me more about sewing than I can learn from all the years I've watched Sewing with Nancy or all the years I've watched all the other sewers. They teach me things as well, but doing this tracing of the pattern is teaching me in a different form. Like I can see someone putting something together and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. But to actually look at the pattern and see how this, is it two-dimensional? Two-dimensional shape, one-dimensional shape, turn into a three-dimensional shape, it's blowing my mind right now. So that's what I am doing. I'm just looking at my notes. Oh, I listened to a book on tape. Podcasts are fine, but then they're interrupted with ads a lot. And, you know, I have the Libby app on my phone, which is a free app through my library. I have a library card, and it gives you thousands, and I mean thousands of book titles that you can either read digitally, which I don't do, or listen to, and I prefer the listening to. Right now I'm listening to The Pillars of the Earth, which is an older book by Ken Follett, and parts of it are a bit risque, but I love history, I love medieval history, and it is very interesting. It's a little bloodthirsty, and I don't know if that's just the author's opinions of the Middle Ages or what truly kind of transpired back then, because there was a lot of murdering and a lot of killing and a lot of torture, and that is well documented. Just don't know why people want to torture each other. It reminds me of the Depeche Mode song. people are people, so why should it be? Anyway, let's move on. Now, since I had my sewing machine out, I thought, wow, I have been working on this project bag embroidery thing for my daughter and myself. This is like one of the, I did have this ironed. It's not ironed anymore because I got mad and frustrated and rethought everything, and like, did I make a mistake? And I was kind of getting down on myself, and then I said no and yes, and maybe you can fix it. So here is one panel. I had cut these out of some sheets that she had when she was a baby. She never slept on them, and I was making face masks back during that time that we all made face masks. So I decided I would take 2 panels and do a little embroidery, and she helped pick out the designs, and I picked out some stuff, and then I thought, well, I'll just make it like the quilt way. That's what I'll do. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, of course that'll work. No, it did not work, but it transpired into something different. So when you make a small quilt, and it can't do much more than like a lap quilt. I think twin is the biggest you can go, but it might be just like a baby quilt. You can put the 2 fabrics right sides together with the quilt, what is it? The cotton, I keep wanting to say basting, but that's not right. Batting, cotton batting together. Then you trim the sides, which I did, trim the corners, which I did. Here's a little piece of it right here, which I'm going to add to my scrap bag, which then will be used for something else. And then you turn it all inside or outside in, and then you have your thing. But this does not equate to a bag, because I wanted one side with this and the other side with this. And then I was very like, oh, it's not going to work. And now I cut it, and now it's not going to be the same size as this one. And I was starting to spiral because I felt like I failed. And I mean, these 2 are real cute. And my daughter and I both agreed that it feels really nice with this cotton batting in the inside. And I just got the small package. You can get, well, you could get it like Joann's, not existent, or Walmart, and it's used for like making microwave bags for baked potatoes. It's cheaper than buying a roll, and you get quite a bit of batting, and it is a nice thickness. Anyway, so I'm going to take this apart. I thought about doing it on screen, but I didn't want to cut myself by accident. I'm going to take this apart, and it's going to be in separate pieces again. And then I'm going to add, I don't know if I'm going to add before or after. I might sew this one to this one with another, I'm debating. I'm going to have this and then another row of the white down here. And then I'm going to have this, so it's going to be a long quilt. But it's not going to be a quilt that you can put on your bed per se. It's going to be a keepsake quilt. And I was thinking in the shower after I was stinky with stress sweat. And it was a hot day, and I got in the shower and I thought, well, how can I make this? Because she doesn't really want to use it as a bag. And I don't want her to use it as a pillowcase, because she said, oh, it'd be nice as a pillowcase. And I said, well, I don't really want you to use it as a pillowcase, and I don't really want her to have it on her bed, because it would just end up on the floor or under her bed, or, you know, and embroidery, no matter how simple or intricate, it takes a long time. And I put a lot of love into this, and I wanted to keep it for forever. I kept saying that to myself. I want her to be able to keep it forever. I want her to be able to have a memory. And then I thought, I'll make a memory quilt. So I'll use this batting for mine. I'll show that in a second. My bag. Maybe I won't. But I really do like that quilty feeling. So I am going to take more panels, each panel here, and I'm going to do some more embroidery, like with her name, the date of her birth, the day of her birth. You know, I can write out the whole month, or I can just do numbers. I have some decals, some iron-on things that have, and that's another thing. I don't want to iron on my things and then lose them. So I will trace them out and I will put it in pen or pencil or something like that onto this fabric, and then I can have another picture. Like she is into music, so I can put something musical here. She is into other things, and then put that there. Maybe I should take a picture of a phone, since she always has a phone attached to her right at this moment in time. That's a joke. Sort of. Anyway, so I'm gonna take it apart, do something different with hers, and then she can keep it forever. I can even learn how to bind a quilt. I can even learn how to do the decorative stitches on my sewing machine. I have a cheap, mid-range brother that was also used for quilting. I have a walking foot. I've never used it. So this will give me options to teach myself not to be afraid of the more intricate stitches on my sewing machine. It's so good. Anyway, so this is like one of the pieces of the batting. Now, I am going to take this. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. And the other one. And then I'm going to use it in my bag. And I will sew, this is mine. Mine's going to be more simple. So one side will be like that, and I am working on my, it is so cute. I'm not quite done. I've been working on this a lot lately. I do different thicknesses of the thread, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. Sometimes I marl them together. Sometimes I just do it simply. I've been working on this side mostly this morning, as well as up here. This helps me when there's so much scary stuff happening in the world, and it's just too much, and it's just driving me insane. So, you know, can't stab others, but you can make beautiful embroidery. Anyway, my plan is to put the batting in between 2 layers. So then the bag will be like this. And I mean, it won't be exactly this wide because, you know, I'm going to have seams and whatnot. But then I will have a bag. I might make it square on the bottom. I'm thinking I might do that. It'll be a drawstring bag. I do have the sides already folded in, so it'll be a simple bag. That's my plan. It's going to be a simple bag, but it's going to be large enough to carry some of my knitting. I do like the quilted aspect because it'll give it a little bit more durability with like knitting needles poking through. That's one thing about Ziplocs. I have one here, where you'll have a knitting needle and then you'll bring it in the car and shove it in a bag, and then your knitting needle goes right through, which has happened even with wood ones. But so I'm working on that, and then when I get my embroidery done, I'm going to start picking out more things and having her pick out designs and other things like floral motifs or a whole bunch. Does the cat like to, does my Tallulah like to grab stuff? She's over there on a chair. Yes, I have a little case here, and my daughter put all those stickers on back when Frozen was popular. So I have all of my stuff. It may look like a rat's nest, but it really isn't. So I just have my thread that I'm working with. It's handy to keep it that way. I also organize my thread on old cardboard inserts that you can get from, like, gosh, where did I get these from? Oh yes, Fancy Feast. I had a cat. Her name was Savina. She was a big old tabby cat. She was, I think she might have had a little bit of Maine Coon in her. She was just a big cat. And she wouldn't eat her dry food all the time, and she wouldn't eat most wet food except for Fancy Feast. And Fancy Feast always had these cardboards in between the layers of their cans. And so I would save them, and I cut the little triangles out, and then I write down, as you can see, the number of the, this is the DMC thread number, and, you know, dark salmon or dark pine green. And so then I know the number if I run out and when I need it. All of these steps take time, but all these steps save me time in the future and also put my mind at ease, so I'm not afraid to use that color, because some way down the line I'll be able to find it again. So that's that, and I have been working on that a lot. I did work on my palette cardigan. I'm not showing it because I got maybe half an inch, because I've been working on other things. I'm going to talk about my cat couch now. I really want to get this done because I'm sick of looking at these foam things, and I want to put them in here. Now, I had something like this finished last week, and then I decided I didn't like this one for the top, so I changed it to the bottom. So that meant I ripped out the sides of my other one and had to change that. But this is working out pretty good. It is very sticky on this foam, so I don't think I'm going to encase it with fabric, because it'll help it adhere to it. And I'm just hoping that the cats don't destroy it. And if they do, I guess they do. And then, you know, it served a purpose for them to destroy this instead of my own couch. Anyway, I have 3 foam pieces here. This is the bottom. I'm holding it like this, otherwise the top, it falls off. So this is the bottom, and then you take the top, which is coming along. I am using a ergonomic US 5 or H hook 5mm. It seems a little bit bigger than a standard 5mm from the set that I got, but that's what it says. Whatever. I really do like those ergonomic hooks. They are very nice. I'm like looking where I am. Okay, so now this is the top. So you put this on top. I have another 4 rounds to go of this ruffle, and you sew this to here, you sew this to this goes down, hides any imperfections you make, and then you take one, I have 4 of these foam things, you take the last one and then you cut it and you put the two pieces together, and that creates the back of this, and then you sew it all together, and it is this pink one down here. That's what it's supposed to look like. I like crocheting. Crocheting also calms me down, very much so. Am I getting nervous about, do I have enough yarn? Of course I am. I'm just trusting the process that it'll all work out. And I said to myself, it's a cat couch, and if it has to be multicolors, it has to be multicolors. I am not going to go out and try to find more country blue yarn. I have other blue yarns. I have other colors of yarn. I have other red heart yarn. So, and it's a cat couch. It doesn't need to be ideally perfect. They will probably not even sit on it for 6 months until I say, oh no, you can't have that. Then they would. You know, they're cats. So it's coming along. I have been working on that because I took apart the bottom to make it the top because of the way that the things were. It was just a more aesthetically pleasing look of the first piece I made than the second piece. I just changed my mind. So I have been working on my Leisure Arts lace cardigan, the purple one, which I have right back here. I'm on the increase part. Not really much to say. I say this a lot about this, but it's coming along. I did three increase repeats now, and I have 7 more to go before I start doing the armhole shaping. And you know, it's coming along. Since I've been working on other things, it hasn't gotten a lot of attention. And also, this does take quite a bit of thought process because I'm not used to making patterns and I'm teaching myself. And so when I get done with that and I want to relax, I don't really want to work on lace, or that's why I got a little bit done on my palette, or I'll do some crochet. But the thing that has been taking forever is starting to see some light of day. I finished a sleeve. I finished one sleeve. I'm on my second sleeve now over here. I finished a sleeve. Let's see, this is the front. I finished my left sleeve. It is a very deep raglan. This is called the Cherry Sweater by Sandes Garn. I may have made it too big. I probably made it too big, but it came from this pattern book. Sandes Garn is not making these pattern books anymore. If you do find one and it's at a price you can afford, I would pick it up. However, Sandes Garn, like most Norwegian patterns, only give you the very basic of information. They do not hold your hand. They just, you know, they just give you basic information. So I got 2 pages of information. And I mean, you don't really need to have your hand held all the time when you do know how to knit, versus like when you're teaching yourself how to do anything, you really want all the help you need and desire and wish for. So I thought that I didn't make the right size, which I probably did not. And then I thought, well, I'll just add more. I think I added more raglan increases on top of it. This sweater has been taking over a year, so I kind of had forgotten. But then underneath the arm, when I tried it on, it seemed like it was going to be too tight on the lower part of my body. So I added in a bunch. You can kind of see the puckering. See? I hope you can see. There's a little bit of puckering right here because of all the increases I made. And then I just went down and down and down, and this curled part, it will actually be the folded hem. And I thought, yeah, it fits fine. It fits pretty good. I put it on myself. Yeah, it looks good. I like it. And then I finished my tricyclery scarf and realized how much this yarn grows. I am using Knit Picks Upcycle Alpaca Sport Weight in the color Squirrel. Presently, Knit Picks does not carry the sport weight on their site. They do have the worsted weight in different colorways. I am a Knit Picks affiliate member. I always have to make mention of this. I do really like this yarn. It is a mixture of acrylic, alpaca, and wool. And it comes in these gorgeous colors. I'm sure there is a brown like this, but this one has little flecks of pinks and reds, and it's really quite pretty in the sunlight. So I'm expecting this to grow a little bit. Now, I've been thinking, well, then what would I wear it as? Could I shrink it? But I don't want to shrink the neck because the neck fits me perfectly. Do I steam it instead of giving it a deep soak? So I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? We will find out. So I had to knit 18 centimeters and then do a round of purl to create the folded hem area, and then I did another 3 centimeters here. I will say that I grew up on inches, and in 4th grade, yeah, I think it was 4th grade, Jimmy Carter was president. We were trying to learn throughout the United States the metric system, which did not take hold. The teachers that I had were old, and they thought it was a bunch of BS, and they did not like it, and they did not promote it. And then I don't know if that was all over the country, but I have a feeling there were people that did not want that to happen, and therefore we're still on is it imperial? We're still on inches. But teaching myself European patterns, especially Norwegian patterns, everything's done in centimeters, and I can see now, I'm like, oh, like just how I measure here, that's an inch. I can measure on my, and I can see, I'm like, oh, that looks to be about a centimeter. And then when I'm right, I'm like, yes. So I was working on, after the purl bump, I'm like, okay, I got three more centimeters to go. And after I would get done cutting out patterns, I'd be like, all right, just a little bit, not too much, because it hurts my hand over here on my thumb doing stocking it in the round. And then I measured, I'm like, all right, I'm at 1.5 centimeters. Cool. I have to do it double, so I might as well just keep on going. And then I would just do it here, just do it there. And then, when was it? Yesterday morning? Yes. Monday morning. Today is Tuesday, the first day of July. So the last day of June, I got up and I was working on this, and I said, you know, that looks like it might be big enough. So I measured, and it was exactly 3 centimeters. And I was like, hot dog. And then I bound off loosely according to pattern. So I went up to a size US 6. The majority of this sweater is done with a US 5 or a 3.75 millimeter. That's what I got gauge with using this yarn, and I'm using Knit Picks Foursquare Laminated Birch Sunstruck needles. Now I just have to do another 18 centimeters to the purl bump, and another 3 centimeters after that. So we'll see when it gets done, but it is getting done. So that is all I have to say today about my works in progress. I did pick up another sewing pattern. I see Charlie Navy on the Stitchery make a variety of these, and I really like it, and I thought, and this is different than all the other patterns I currently own. I don't have anything with princess seams, I don't think. Maybe one of the costume ones I got, because I was going to make my daughter a Ren Fair costume, but then the Ren Fair in my neck of the woods, the owner of the property sold the property, and then the new owners did not want the Ren Fair there, which is a bummer because it was actually growing and it was a lot of fun. Ren Fairs are fun, but the closest one to me is still about 2 hours away, and we have a dog and cats and whatnot, so maybe in the future, who knows. Other than that, until school starts again, I am presently just working at home, working on my things. Maybe I'll get a lot more done. It has been already a really busy summer break. It's only been 4 days and it seems like it's been an eternity. So I hope to come back next week with more things done, more things shown. Maybe I'll be able to start cutting out patterns because I want to trace as much as I can and then choose which one I want to start sewing, so I'm not just with all these different projects all over the place, because I have enough things all over the place, believe me. Until then, I'm losing steam, sorry. By the way, before I forget, thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking, thank you for commenting, thank you for stopping by and listening to me ramble on about the things I love to do. I really appreciate this format for me to keep me motivated, to keep me not accountable, but just keep me on track to finish and seeing what I can accomplish. I'm always like truly amazed by like Lady Rebecca Fashions. She makes these gorgeous works of art, and she's so busy with all the other things that she's done, and yet she still finds time to dedicate herself to sewing or taking care of her animals, or going on these trips for like the Victorian thing she went on just recently. And those patterns, she drafts herself sometimes because they don't fit correctly, so she fixes the fit. I have learned so much from her. So I figure if other people can do it, so can I. And that's a good thing to think about. If you're scared of something, try doing it a different way. Instead of cutting out your tissue paper, trace it. It creates a lot less anxiety by taking care of your original. That's just what I think. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Take care. Have fun. Bye for now.